This is one of the coolest setups I've built so far using OSMO Pocket 3 for a vlog style setup. So in this video we're going to be talking about what this setup is all about. I'm going to be talking about components, we'll talk about the cost of how much it costs to build this type of setup, and if you stick around until the end of the video I will reveal all the pros and cons. So first of all, I wanted to talk about who this setup is for and what I was trying to accomplish while building this. Well, to answer this question, first of all, this is a setup for a person who is definitely trying to do vlog first and foremost, and second of all, the problem that I wanted to solve when I was building this type of setup is while vlogging I noticed this little issue when I was passing through darker areas, the areas that did not have as much natural exposure and not as much natural light. I noticed that the exposure was getting really dull and I didn't really like the way the footage was coming out. So to solve this type of issue, I decided to install this light on top of OSMO Pocket 3, but the problem was that there was not a lot of mounting options available, especially to set up a big light like this one. Now, I really appreciate you watching this video, and I just started this channel. My name is Ivan, and I would really appreciate if you can give me a subscribe and a like to this video, just for me to build up a little bit of a following on YouTube would be very much appreciated. And without further ado, let's get back into the video. Okay, so now let's talk about all the components that this particular build is going to have. Obviously, as you already know, we are building everything on the base of OSMO Pocket 3 camera. Now, in my particular case, I was using a creators combo, but you don't have to. Realistically, you can use it without it, but I think that creators combo is well worth its money because it comes with an additional battery adapter, with the stand, and with the mic, which is really awesome. Now, this aside, the next component we are going to be talking about is going to be this DJI action camera adapter, which was really cool. I actually tried another adapter that was not really working very well, and it was from a third party, but this one is actually very nice. Comes with this mount over here. Now that's awesome. The next part is going to be this this action camera adapter. And now when it comes to this one, there's a lot of different options available on the market. I went for the aluminum one, which I do think that I kind of regret, because I will mention how it attributes to one of the flaws of this camera a little bit later on in the video. But in any case, this is the adapter that I was using in order for me to connect this extension piece. And this extension piece, it's kind of interesting. I didn't really find a lot of different stuff available on Amazon like this, but yeah, it's basically an extension piece. It has a 1/4 inch to 20 mounts, two mounts, and then you have the screw over here which controls these two mount bolts, and then you basically can articulate this mount in any position you want, which was really nice. And that's exactly what I was trying to accomplish, because it gives you a lot of flexibility when it comes to installing the light on top of the camera and making sure that it doesn't really interfere with the gimbal. Now, the last part of this build is going to be this Ulanzi light. This is a VL200 light. Really nice. It's pretty powerful, pretty bright. I'm not going to be reviewing this light in particular. You can realistically use any kind of light that has the 1/4 inch to 20 mount. So yeah, this is a nice light. You can go for any kind of option that's available and that you personally like with the way it exposes you. Now let's talk about the cost. So first of all, I wanted to go from the biggest amount to the smallest amount, and if I were to arrange them, it would be something like so. So most expensive going to the cheapest one. Now when it comes to the creative combo, I got it when it just came out, so the original price for this item was $669.99. You can find it in with a lot of different retailers. Now Ulanzi light, I purchased it from Amazon. The original price was $39.95, but I got it with a 10% coupon, which I still believe is available on Amazon. The link is going to be in the description section, so it turned out to be $35.95, so that's pretty cool. Now the adapter is actually super cheap. It's only $19, which is super nice. There's a lot of way more expensive adapters out there in the market, but I do really appreciate this one. It's just a simple piece. It's actually very easy to take it off and on. There's just a simple clip-on option over here available for you, and yeah, you can just snap it on. Let's say if you are going to be in a situation where you will need the build, you can put it on, or you can take it off if you don't need it. Let's say if you are going to be vlogging outside and you don't don't foresee any kind of situation when you are going to be underexposed. Now the arm, there's a lot of deals going on Amazon. I've seen these arms for as expensive as like $18, but then as I was doing my research, I was able to find this piece for $8.99, which I think is pretty good. And it's actually the good thing about it, that despite the fact that it's pretty cheap, it's actually really sturdy. It's made of metal and it has a very good design to it, and I just think it's a very nice piece of equipment over here, a little adapter, very nicely built. And then the last piece is this action mount. There's so many different options available for you on the market. You can go for the aluminum option, or you can go for the plastic one. The plastic ones goes as cheap as $2.99, which is really awesome. So yeah, this is the little adapter, and this is the cost. Now when it comes to the total amount, it all ended up being $736.92, which I think is a pretty good deal. So you're only adding about $100, not even $100, a little less than $100 to add this type of setup, which is super nice. Now let's see how long it's gonna take me to put this setup back together. Now this only took me 2.5 minutes to put it together, but in the realistic scenario, you're probably not going to be taking apart this whole entire setup to a T, so you are probably going to be just keeping it as a two-piece setup. And having this adapter over here is actually really neat, because you are able just to snap off the clip and open it up, and then you are able to store it separately. And here, I'll turn off the light over here. But yeah, this setup is all really awesome. And now I wanted to talk about all the flaws that this particular setup has. Now the first flaw that I had had to do with this Ulanzi light, because it has a little bit of a magenta type of tone to it, and even though I'm using auto balance on the OSMO camera, you can still see that a little bit of that purple tint. Now again, you can always swap the components of this particular build and use something different, something that you find better, but I personally really like this one. It didn't really bother me when it comes to the purplish tint, and I think that this light has a pretty big coverage, and I'll show you in the examples later on. And the second problem that I had when it comes to this setup is going to be a little bit more major comparing to the first one, and it's going to be the weight. So because we're going to be using a lot of metal components in this particular setup, the problem with it becomes that it becomes relatively heavy. So my worry is that if I'm going to be using this type of setup and holding, let's say, the camera over here at the bottom, the handle, I think over time the USB-C connector over here at the bottom is going to become inoperable, and that's going to be an issue. So in order for you to avoid this type of situation, you basically have two solutions. Either you're using the same exact components I used over here, and you're just going to be holding the setup a little bit higher, maybe hold it for the adapter level, or the second idea that I had is to use lighter components, something that's not going to be putting so much stress on those joints. Yeah, so those are the two main issues, and now let me show you some of the examples of the footage and how having this type of light on top of OSMO Pocket 3 is going to affect the footage that you're gonna get at the end. So right now I'm standing next to the window. It's dusk, so as you can see, I'm next to the window, I'm properly exposed. But the second I start moving away from the window, as you can see, my face just starts to getting so dark, and this is the type of situation that I was trying to avoid. Now if we go back to the window and we get that proper exposure, and then you will be able to see when I turn on the light, and here's the light. So now I'm talking with you with the light on. The setting is pretty mild, it's only 12% of the power. Now if I start to move away from the window, as you can see, I'm still pretty well exposed, and no matter what, it's almost pitch black over here in the hallway. But obviously it's more of an exaggerated type of example, but I think it gives you a good idea about what kind of capability this type of setup has. Now another example that I wanted to show you why I didn't want to use the mount on the side of this adapter, it's because when you use the light on the side of the camera, this is the type of effect you're getting. And basically, as you can see, I'm holding the light right now in my hand, so I'm holding it over here to the side. As you can see, it casts a lot of shadows on my nose. I don't really like that a lot. But right now, if I move the light over here right directly on top of the camera, as you can see, the lighting exposure is way more pleasant. So that was the goal. So I hope you found this video useful. I hope you enjoyed this type of setup that I put together for you. Now all the components are going to be down in the description of this section, so if you are interested in buying any parts of this particular build, you will find all the information in the description section. And please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel just to support it, because I'm just starting out. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.